To be a racetrack where Santa Fe Gravel exists now, and it was called the Tortilla Flats, and they used to race horses there. The communities from different villages would bring the horses in, and they would race, finest horses, and they had telephone poles and sand and chutes and everything. Well, I had a little mare, and she was an Arabian Appaloosa, and I used to train her with spurs, big old star spurs like that. And man, she was a lion. She looked like a donkey, like the face of a donkey, but when you stood in the starting line, I used to race against the finest horses, and I always beat them. And I used to race outside the track. So they were placing bets on me instead of placing bets on the horses. And they took the complaint to my dad and said, "Your son is ruining the races." And that's what it was. And my dad would ask me, "What are you doing out there?" I said, "Dad, I'm just racing, man. This guy's, I don't know why they're getting upset. I'm just racing. I just get a kick out of it." And then he saw the horse. I used to really poke her with those star spurs real bad. And my dad took him away from me. He took the horse, and that day my dad belted me good. So he used to tell me, if you're not bothering, and he told the man, if you're not bothering, I mean, I don't see nothing wrong with it. You know, it's public area. So I did that till finally the men got smart. They started throwing me on their horses. So I started riding their horses. $2, $5 a race. And I used to race bareback. I still ride bareback. And not very many people ride bareback. I ride bareback so fast that I literally could lay on that horse at full speed. Anymore, my horse is old. I've got an Egyptian Arabian, and he's about as old as me. I've got a Jack Russell, and he's about as old as me. So he gets lost and shakes, and this guy, my horse doesn't go more than 2 hours, and I probably can't go more than 2 hours anymore. But that was one of the stories that pertaining to horses. Now, in the other mischief, we used to drink a lot when we were young. I think everybody did, or does. And we used to have a place called the Beer Bush. My dad, I ran from the police one time. We're going down Cerritos Road. I was 17 on a 64 Malibu I had. I just put a new engine in it. And we're going down Cerritos, and the cop decided to put his lights on me, and I didn't want to stop because we had made a trap. We're going to check it out, right? So we start, my friend says, "Let's try out the trap." So we start going down Cerritos full speed, and the cop finally gets beside me with a spotlight, and he's doing the spotlight to us. We're showing him the beer. Man, we're just cruising, man. So we got to my dad's property, so we made a fast ride, and the cop kept going straight. So we got in there, and we hit the fence. We were tied up in the fence. So my friend, he was my co-pilot, he said, "Let the cop come to the car, let him grab the handle when he wants to come in, and we'll take off again." Well, we sure did, and when the cop got a hold of that handle, I started dragging the police officer till we finally let go. And man, we took off into the fields, and by that time there was 2 more after us. I mean, that's the most excitement the village had, I think. And this trap, the way this trap worked, it was a hill that you go down, and there was an old water ditch, a sekya, and there was a tree. So when you went down and saw the tree, automatically you get away from the tree and you go in the ditch, right? Well, we hit the tree and we got through. And this cop went in the ditch, and the one behind him hit him, and they turned the cars over. And we went over to a couple of fields, and we're still drinking, and we're laughing. It was funny, man. And just laughing and drinking, and they spotted us, man. They spotted a glitter with their spotlights. So my co-pilot says, "Wait till they come, and when they come, we'll start going around and around a tree." So sure enough, they came in around and around the tree like cartoons. I couldn't believe it, round and round, and then we took off, and they started shooting at us. Man, they started unloading their guns, and I hit a bump, and the beer went all over me, and I thought I got hit. I kept telling them, I'm hit. Beer, it's beer. We took off towards, there's a there's a volcano, we called the volcano back, there's a big blowhole that we used to go back there when we were kids. So we took off way back there, and they started following us, and we started losing them, till finally we lost them. But by that time, because I had a new engine, my radiator started steaming and my clutch started burning, and they started catching up. I said, man, what are we going to do? So we said, let's go into the volcano road. So we went and cut off into the volcano road, and they started getting closer. So I got off the road and started going through all the bumps and ditching the bushes, and all of a sudden we were airborne. And we hit the other side of an embankment of an arroyo, and my steering wheel came up, and I totaled out my car, completely totaled it out, and the car went down. And the spotlights were going looking for us, and they couldn't find us. And it was February. So I told my brother and my co-pilot, you know what, I'll take the blame and you guys lay low, and when we leave, you guys can walk home. And they said, it's 10 below zero out here. We're 20 miles from home. No, we're all going to jail. So we all went to jail, and they gave us a beating. They gave us a good beating and threw us in jail. They called my dad. And the next morning, my co-pilot got thrown into adult jail because he was adult and I was 17. My brother was 15. So that morning, my dad looked through the little window, because back then it was detention centers, and he started laughing. And he closed the window and left. So my brother and I were in separate cells, and I'm tapping my brother, and they come in and tell us to shut up. So my dad just left us there, and I said, well, dang, what the heck, what's going to happen? Well, he came out at the end of the day when the sun was going down and got us out. And he sat us in the truck, and I sat my brother in the middle, and I left the door open, and I thought if my dad starts swinging, I'm jumping out of the truck, man, because my dad was a maniac. He was firm and mean, kind as well, but anyway, my brother said to my dad, I'm sorry. Boom, he hit my brother. But he didn't get to me, so I didn't have to jump out. But I did get home, and my car was gone, it was trashed out, and I had to start catching the bus to go to school. I lost my job, and my world was collapsed. They took my license away. So by no means was I a saint, I was a reckless kid. Co-pilot went to adult jail. They wanted to charge him with contributing to minors, but I'm the one that bought the liquor. So pretty much I went to court and I told the judge that I was the one that bought the liquor, but the law was so lenient back then that he was let out. He just had to pay his court costs. And back then you didn't even have to pay a bond, they just let you out the following day. It was very, very different back then. I got stopped all the time. And, all I had to do was empty my beer.
How old was your co-pilot?
My co-pilot was 19. I was 17. We were all young kids, you know, just. And back then, contributing to a minor, it was pretty much over 21. You had to be 21 or over. But after 18, you were still considered an adult. So that was one of the wild days, you know. Any more questions?
One more question before we say goodbye.
So with your position now as president and taking care of things, who do you foresee taking over your position in the future?
There's a young man now, his name is Dion Montoya. He came in a year ago, and Dion is a very, very intelligent man. He's about 31, 32. I've known him as a kid, he's a relative, and he works for Dow Company, and he's a big plumbing company. He does plumbing bids for big outfits, and he does estimates, and he does plans and stuff, and he's very involved, very, very fast involved. He got the hang of it quickly. So pretty much I told him when he come in that I would really appreciate him thinking about taking the presidential position eventually. My son, his name is Santiago, he also is pretty interested. So I'm hoping that maybe my son will get in there. He's a mariachi, and he does network marketing, and he does a lot of legal insurances and stuff. So I'm hoping that perhaps him or my daughter, she's an accountant for the state school outlay. Then I have one, my other daughter's also interested. She's HR, with the county. And then hopefully my youngest son he's also a network college graduate, so I'm hoping that my kids will pick up the ball, and I'm trying to get younger people in there, but they don't want to get in. They just don't want to get in. I don't know. I mean, that's the way I was. But they'll get in when there's no water, guaranteed. Let the water stop, and they're going to start trying to figure out how to get that water back. So you got to do things earlier than later as a youth. Yeah, don't put off for tomorrow what you can do today. That's the bottom line.
Thank you so much.